Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Friday. Friday's the day. Friday is the last day of our week. It's like, what is Friday? It's Friday something. Good morning, Kastuba.
Good morning.
We're studying the Srimad Bhagavatam today, Canto 6. Quite exciting.
Good
and
stuff.
I am sore, brother. I am sore.
That's from building stone walls.
You know what? You don't need CrossFit. You don't need a gym membership. You just you come
Move
over here to
stones
Super
around.
Soul Farm and help me build stones. Moving stones is I feel like I got arthritis, like I've been beat up by Mike Tyson. But it is so satisfying. Even Tarun is out there with me, wanting to help.
Building that wall.
Build that wall, Raghunath. Build that wall. Yes. So that's where I'm at. I'm building a beautiful little stone wall. I'm going to show you a picture soon. It's actually looking like a wall now.
Yeah, you should take progress photos.
I'll take progress photos. Yeah.
Mary, you got to pull your mic down. You gotta,
it's missing a screw.
Oh,
so it's hard to take.
How did you lose that thing? I don't get that.
I gotta lose the screw. I got a screw loose.
Screw loose for sure. Okay. All right, we're gonna.
All right.
Got some kind of yantra T-shirt on here. What's going on there?
No, this is the Lake Placid yoga shirt.
Oh,
I used to teach up in Lake Placid with Sweet Mangala Chitri and Sweet Banjo Mike.
Oh, way up there, huh?
Sweet Robin.
High Peaks Yoga.
High Peaks Yoga, yeah. Hey, you like my new thing I say before the show? We want as many people as possible to hear this transformational message of the Bhagavatam. So please remember to subscribe, like, follow, and most of all, share. I've been saying that lately. Have you picked up on that?
I didn't, but I mean, I've noticed you've been telling people that more lately.
I think it's important.
And I have noticed that we've had a big boost on YouTube. Maybe it's related. I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. For the longest time, we've always been part of this, community of people that want to share spiritual wisdom. You and I did it for years as monks, setting up programs at universities, going on the street, setting up a book table, all different things. Now we just make an announcement like that and you get 3,000 more listeners in one day. It's unbelievable.
We have had a bit of a boost on YouTube, which is not our thing. We're more like in the audio platforms. But that interview that we did with Ananta Govinda, I don't know if it's the thumbnail. I don't know if it's because of Ananta Govinda. I don't know if it's just some...
It's going through the roof?
Or the name. It was called Bhakti Fugue State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the name of it too, but somehow that one's caught on. It's become our number one YouTube video, most clicks of any YouTube video that we've ever had. Yeah.
Wow.
Just skyrocketed.
Alrighty. All right. Any announcements, Miss Mara?
Yes, we have Bhakti Recovery Groups meetings today at 12:30 and 1 Eastern Time. And Josh Kane's asana class today at 10:30 a.m. for our Patreon members.
This is
Oh, you know what
We got 2 microphones going on here.
Isn't this crazy?
Never had this before.
Hey, you know what? I'd like to humbly request, Mara, that
Yes.
we do Sweet Baby Krishna tonight.
Oh yeah, I was going to say to you, Raghunath.
Yeah, great.
You know what?
I've
I
never
really
seen
just
any
miss
Krishna.
sitting down with everybody and reading Krishna stories. So
I
let's
might
say
even join you.
tonight. Oh, righty.
8 p.m.
Just as a listener, not I don't want to.
Oh, let's do it at 8 o'clock.
I don't
That
wanna
gives me
cramp
time to
your-
work on my stone wall.
Yeah.
Okay, because as soon as I said, I was like, "But my stone wall." And I like to do that in the evening time. Okay, 8 o'clock tonight. Sweet Baby Krishna. That's something just that I do extra. We read Krishna stories before we go to bed. It's really fun. You can join us live there at 8 p.m. Eastern time, or if you're a Patreon member, and if you're a Patreon member, it gets saved, so you can go back and listen to them if you're calling from another time zone where you're going to be asleep. Thanks to everybody who are Patreon supporters. We really appreciate that. You go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages, and anything helps us and encourages us to keep doing what we're doing. Okay. And let me tell you this, the money we get, it's like, we just want to figure out how to expand this more. It's not like, okay, now Kostuba's going out and getting gold teeth. It's not like that. The more money we get, it's not like that. We're just trying to figure out, like, how can we bring in other people to expand this, to make classes. Anyway, that's our mission.
And some of it goes to Trader Joe's.
Yeah, some goes to Trader Joe's for sure. They've got, by the way, it is Ekadasi today, and Trader Joe's has these things. I don't know if you know, but they've got these Ekadasi burrito wraps.
Right.
Almond
Keep that in
flour.
mind.
Imagine if they
With
had these when
almond
we were
flour.
brahmacharis.
All right.
Anyway, let's continue on.
We got a nugget today. It's a big, long nugget.
Okay, let's do this nugget. Why do I itch in the morning? What is the matter with me? Okay. All right, this is from a rapper. Kostuba, what were you searching rappers?
No, I just came
Rappers with
across
awful
this. I think I
lyrics?
saw it like in a Instagram reel or something. I said, oh, okay. This is something I can learn from, This
Okay.
what? It's from D1. That's his name, D1.
D1. Is he famous?
Well, so I don't know how famous he is actually.
Why don't you YouTube search him or Google search
no, I
him?
got it. Wikipedia right here. David Arnold Augustine Jr. Now that you don't go into the rap world with a name like that. You go in with D1, right?
Yeah.
David Arnold Augustine Jr.
My name's David Augustine. That doesn't work so well. Junior. Nothing rhymes with Junior.
Just that Arnold in there is just gonna,
That's gonna ruin his whole rap career.
Yeah. Okay. But he's better known by the stage name D1. He's an American rapper from New Orleans, Louisiana. He's the first rapper in Louisiana history to be an appointee of the governor. Well, what does that mean? Like appointed as what?
Appointee. I don't know what that means, actually.
So he's been appointed to something. Anyway, he's doing his thing out there, and he's got something nice for us here. Let's hear what he has to say.
People don't. Do I have to
this-
rap it, or can I just read it?
I think better that you don't.
Okay.
But,
For everybody's benefit,
but,
can I use hand gestures?
This is called "People Don't Want That Real."
People don't want that real. They just say they do. Nah, people don't want that real, and I'm one of them too.
Okay, right there. He's coming from a
place of humility. He's a place of he's not blaming.
Yeah, he's saying I'm part of this.
I'm part of the problem.
He's saying, people don't want that real. We're not really sincere. We say we want something, but then we go for other stuff.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm so easily entertained by ratchet activity. Violent, negative imagery always seems to interest me. Oh, I know what he's talking about.
Okay.
Thinking of all the things I follow. I tell myself no more music glorifying evil, selling drugs, womanizing, killing our people. Then I hear a song with a tight beat, and I can't deny it. The hook is so catchy, so I subconsciously memorize it.
Okay. We talk a lot about this kind of thing, right, Raghunath?
Yeah. We get into this stuff, and then
and that gets in your mind.
It gets in our mind, and it's a hook. Exactly.
Catchy. And
Next thing you know,
subconsciously memorize it, right?
you're memorizing lyrics and they're becoming part of who you are,
Yeah.
right?
And then
A woman is a bitch and a hoe.
yeah.
What? And I'm going to say
What?
that again and again and again, but it's so damn catchy.
Right.
It's horrible.
And
It's
you
horrible.
know,
I've cut all that abusive, sexist, racist music out of my iTunes library. Don't listen to any of that stuff anymore.
very good, very good. And you know, when this stuff comes back, when you part of like how you recognize how insidious it is when you sit down and meditate and your mind's going to this stuff, right? You wake up early in the morning, you sit down to meditate, and this stuff is stuck in your head,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right.
Imagery, also imagery, the imagery, the things that we look at on a regular basis and
Yeah.
lock our consciousness into. When you close your eyes and try to think of Krishna, your mind will go to that imagery.
And you know, the thing is, and he's getting right to an important point. Like some of our most talented artists, some of our most talented filmmakers, some of our most talented musicians, you know, they're going to this kind of imagery and this kind of language and these kind of topics and so on. It's not that any topic is off the table, but it's just a question of how you approach that topic, right?
Yeah.
And he mentioned here like glorifying evil, right? It's kind of like you're
Right.
packaging it in a way that it seems attractive. Really, what it is, you know, it's all just kind of like trying to usurp Krishna's qualities, you know, like, you know, Krishna's power, Krishna's charm, Krishna, you know, but packaged in these ways that are like so unhealthy, you know, for the mind.
Yeah.
The-
You and I, boy, we were such, we were
Yeah.
torn because you and I grew up in the hardcore scene.
Yeah.
And if you're from that music scene, it had a real heavy twist of violence.
Particularly
And the
in New
band
York.
and it was very interesting. It was like it must be like a person who has like an abusive father that's also loving, and you're like, I'm screwed up now. What do I do? Like what? Like we used to love the Cro-Mags, and the Cro-Mags, they were into Krishna consciousness like before anybody was, but they'd have these lyrics that were like completely violent. I'll show you no mercy. I was like, I don't understand. Are they good? Are they evil? What should I be? And like music that we listen to, it creates our identity in this world. So we have to really be in the same way. We're really really careful. Like, does that have any gluten in it? Because I'm celiac. Or does that have any trans fats or canola oil? We got to be like that with things that we hear, because it starts to create our subtle body, and then we become that.
You're catching on to the canola oil thing. That's good, Raghunath. I dropped that on you, and I
dropped that on you years ago.
What
are you kidding me?
About?
Are you kidding me? You've been all over your canola. I'm
Come
throwing
on, man,
stuff
in that
out
closet,
of your,
right? I can see
going
the
into your
closet. There's stuff in there with canola oil.
Throwing stuff out of your.
I dropped that on you years ago. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So he subconsciously memorized it, right? Then I hear a song with a tight beat and I can't deny it. The hook is so catchy, so I subconsciously memorize it.
Yeah, you can't do that. Can't do that, D.
Next thing,
you know, I'm reciting all the lyrics, and my day don't feel complete unless I hear it, inviting darkness in my spirit. This can't be light. I'm craving what I'm supposed to be fighting. This can't be right. I must be blind to the effects. This can't be sight. Death is in the power of the tongue. Oh, because this can't be life. Death is in the power of the tongue. I like it.
It all starts with the tongue, right?
It all starts with the tongue. This guy's a devotee.
How you use your tongue, what you say, you know?
Be careful what you get involved with, because you can't support a cause that hate, hate the effects that it causes.
There you go.
That is a great line. That is a t-shirt. That is a tattoo across my chest.
All right.
Be careful that what you get involved with, because you can't support a cause, but then hate the effects of that cause.
It causes. I'm into this music. I'm really against all the violence. I'm really against all the misogyny. I'm against it. Yeah, I really kind of like this music. Well, that music's promoting. You know, I remember once I saw an episode of the Oprah Winfrey show.
Mm-hmm.
And she had like a whole like panel of like hip hop artists, and
Right.
it might have been artists and other people that it may have been people speaking against it too. I forget. But there's one famous producer up there, and he was just saying like, well, this music is a reflection of what's going on the streets, right? And he was defending, like, she was bringing up more or less in the spirit of this composition
Right.
here, like she was kind of saying, well, come on, this stuff gets in our minds and affects how we behave, it affects our attitudes, it's how we treat one another, etc. And he was saying, no, this is art, and art is like reflecting what's going on. Okay, you can reflect it, but it's a question, what spin do you put on it? It was like he was taking
That's
no
a good way to put it.
responsibility for the fact that this stuff that you're saying you're against the cause. Just like you said, be careful what you get involved with, because you can't support a cause but then hate the effects that it causes. If you hate these things that are going on in your communities, but you're supporting the things that are contributing to it, well,
Yeah.
then that's hypocrisy, even if
Sure.
it has a tight beat,
Sure.
do I really want to change?
Yeah. Well, I was reflecting. I was reflecting.
Okay,
I was reflecting. He thought I was just zoning out, looking at a dreaming of something. Okay.
You
I
were
really want to
reflecting on the
change?
chat board is what
I wasn't reflecting on the chat board. I was just thinking about
all right, fine.
how to apply this in my life.
Okay, great.
Because at a certain point, when I was a teenager and when we were in Youth of Today, we had to make a choice of who we are going to be. Right. And who are we going to align what values we are going to align ourselves with.
I got a quote. I'll bring it up. I think it was from Hemingway, a nugget.
Thought you were going to quote Youth of Today, but okay.
No, Hemingway, not Youth of Today. What are you talking about?
Well, my point being that we now at this point we had a platform and people were following us. We were just teenagers, but at the same time we were like, we need to be responsible in what comes out of our mouth here,
Right.
and a lot of these values, even though the bands that we love are like really promoting violence and negativity, and I'm not going to opt into that. And then when we took shelter, so to speak, of other bands that had positive messages, and we were like, you know what, this is who we are. This is who I want to align myself as. This is the side of history I want to be on. And that was important. And then it affects not just you, but it affects everybody around you. And if ultimately it affects the trajectory of where you are, 5 years later, 20 years later, in my case now 37 years later.
It's so important that you made that choice then. Here's the quote from Hemingway. He says, are you ready?
Yep.
He says, go all the way with it. Don't back off. For once, go all the goddamn way with what matters. And I thought, actually, that's an interesting quote. It's just like,
I didn't think he spoke like that. All right.
Ernest Hemingway?
Goddamn way.
Okay. No, I think he was kind of like I don't know so much about him, but I think he was
you're like the Bhagavatam. You're doing like a quote within a quote, a nugget within a nugget. Just like the Bhagavatam is like a story within a story within a story. You're doing quote level 2 now.
Quote level 2. Yeah, that's right. nugget level 2.
Let me quote Hemingway quoting somebody else.
The nugget within a nugget. But here's my point, right? Go all the way with it. Don't back off. For once, just go the whole way with what's important. In other words, we got this short life. Let's not be like, oh yeah, I'm into Bhagavatam and I'm into like some of that Bhakti stuff, and no. Well, if you're into it, go all the way. Just all the way. It's like
it's a big.
Passing by.
It's a big one. Not even just cleaning up your language. So it's very common just to curse. Stop cursing. For a day, stop cursing. For 2 days, stop cursing. For this whole week, no curses out of your mouth.
It's important.
Just because culture does it and TV does it and the movies you watch do it, don't do it. It cleans up your consciousness as well.
All right.
It's important.
Thank you.
It helps. Some people just can't give it up. It becomes part of their persona.
Or it's part of this kind of, a lot of it is male ego. It's like Purusha Abhiman is called, it's like you're trying to portray again, it's trying to usurp Krishna's qualities.
Yeah. But it really shows where your mind is at though, too,
Yeah.
Like, what are you what kind of language are you saying in your mind on a regular basis?
It gets
Okay,
seeps in there,
let me
yeah.
go with this because this is
Yeah,
I
course.
really
Now we
like
get to the
this.
course.
It's one of my favorite
Nuggets?
little nuggets we've done in a while.
Okay, here's the course.
Do I really want to
No,
change?
it's not like that.
Do I
The
really want
word
to
course threw
change?
you
Am I
off.
really who I claim?
Do I really want to change? Am I really who I claim? Okay.
When that final day comes, Lord, will you call my name?
Or even he could have said it the other way, right?
Yeah,
Will
will
I
I
call
call?
your name, or will my mind be
Well, maybe you
absorbed in
should
other?
give him a. Maybe you should write him and say, "Hey, maybe you can change this lyric."
Flip it.
It's just really on my brain. Do I really want to change? Am I really who I claim? When that final day comes, Lord, will you call my name? It's just really on my brain. I love this because, yeah, I love this
The
actually.
nugget.
I love this nugget. I love this idea that, man, we're trying to change who we are, but we ourselves are so enmeshed in the nonsense of this world.
Mm.
That like, am I even sincere? Questioning our own sincerity.
Mm. Yeah,
Mm,
right. We have to question our own sincerity.
we
That's
have
why
to.
I like that
And it doesn't
Hemingway quote.
end as a devotee. It doesn't end like, okay, I've joined the Bhakti club. Now, no, it means you continually question, am I sincere about this? Am I moving forward? And sometimes we get caught up in these base ones, the very ABCs. I've seen this happen. Devotees been around so long. I've seen it happen to myself. It's like the most simple things like greed. We're caught up in greed. We come on, you know all these mantras, you can do all these things, and you're acting like you're greedy, or lust, or like simple things that were supposed to be the ABCs of our spiritual life.
Yeah.
And we were teaching all these esoteric topics, and we can quote so many things. We studied so many books, but these basic foundational cornerstones of any spiritual philosophy,
Kindness,
kindness.
generosity,
Yeah, come on.
simplicity.
That's why I think people are always worried about, I got to go deeper, got to go deeper. Stay on the basics, dude. Stay on the basics. You don't got to go any deeper.
And that's why I appreciate this Hemingway quote. It's just like, we can dabble with this stuff and make it a little part of our like external identity. And you know what? You come to Bhakti, of course, you dabble with it in the beginning. Let me see if I like it. Oh, I read a couple books; they're pretty interesting. But at a certain point, time is ticking away. It's not just dabbling anymore. You got to just say, I'm in. I'm going to practice this for real. I've been because my wife is away, taking care of her mother.
Yeah.
And I'm so I'm spending a lot of time alone right now. And I said, okay, this is good. I can go deeper into my chanting, and my habit has always been to, like, since the show, I've been always chanting like later in the day, not in the morning. But now I flipped it because like, any case, I flipped it. It's so like now I'm because normally I'm preparing for the show early in the morning. I wake up early and I read, and I study, I do different things. Now I do that in the afternoon and I chant early in the morning. And you get up at 3:30 in the morning, you sit
It's
down.
magic hour. It's a magic hour.
Man,
people think like, well, that's crazy. That's a little extreme. Sometimes you'll hear these people on podcasts say things like, you got to wake up early, like 6 a.m. You're like, are you kidding me? 6 a.m.
But exactly what you're saying. Like I was thinking, I'm sitting here and I'm saying, what it's like to sit in New York City. I have a beautiful temple in my home, right? I'm up before everybody else is up. And I feel like this room is surcharged with spiritual energy, right? It's like in a desert. Like this room that I'm in is just like full of spiritual warmth and energy, and you just sit there and you try to chant as purely as you can. And I'm thinking to myself, to most people, this is going to sound extreme, right? To get up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, you're sitting there, you're chanting japa. But I said, I'm doing it without any effort. I'm doing it like I wake up and I just get up and I do it, and I'm loving it. And I'm saying, but I had to you build to get to that kind of place, right? You just keep taking steps. It's not like you're going to get there necessarily tomorrow, but if you begin to take another step forward and another step forward and keep taking steps forward, go in, opt in, you'll find yourself doing crazy stuff like waking up at 3:30 in the morning and chanting japa easily at a certain point in your life,
Yeah.
You just got to keep moving forward. Keep
We
moving
got to
forward.
push that. Culture wants to do it the other way. Keep you
Right.
up late, wake up late. Try to just actively say, you know what? I'm going to flip it tomorrow. I'm going to flip it this week. Just 1 week, flip it and see what
Yeah.
happens. See what
Experiment.
that. It's not even a spiritual thing. It's just like an auspicious,
Subject thing.
almost like it's a very, very high refined mode of goodness time to do it, to do spiritual things. And when you start doing what we do is spiritual japa, which is out of this material realm, and you do it at this auspicious hour, it's very, very potent. And then you go to bed early and you don't deal with all the other darkness that comes with the gunas. And the material world of the day is broken up and owned by these three gunas: goodness, passion, and ignorance, tamas, rajas, and sattva. So if you can sort of work your schedule where you're in the current of sattva, you've got like a favorable breeze in your sailboat. And if you work against that breeze, it's like going upstream in a canoe. It ain't easy, right? You're trying to be spiritual, but you're staying up till 11:30 at night. It's not working in your favor.
Yeah, you want to go with the stream, right?
You want to go with the current.
Yeah, I like that. All right. All right, should we get in the Bhagavatam?
Ever see that or read that book?
Yeah.
What is it?
Which one? Who wrote it?
It's a squirrel anyway, but it's a great book. It's a great movie. They made it into a movie.
No idea what you're talking about yet.
Kon-Tiki.
Never even heard of it.
Oh my God. You got to you read it when you were little? Yeah. Great book.
Kon-Tiki.
Kon-Tiki. You would like it.
All right.
It's one of my favorites of all time. It's a documentary, actually.
Okay.
I think Disney put it out. Just search that for me, please.
Disney.
It's about riding the currents from South America on a wood made of balsa to Southeast
On a
Asia.
boat made of balsa?
Yeah, because they found tikis or like deities in South America that were identical, similar to the ones they found in Southeast Asia.
The Kon-Tiki expedition was a 1947 journey by raft across the Pacific Ocean from South America to the Polynesian islands. The raft was named Kon-Tiki after the Inca god, for whom Kon-Tiki was said to be an old name.
Speaking of Polynesian islands, it's our prayers for everyone in Hawaii.
Maui.
I'm going to give a Hare Krishna mantra. Ready? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There's so many devotees. There's so many people who are losing everything right now. And this is, the miserable side of the material world is that at any minute, things that appear so solid, I mean, these beautiful communities, these beautiful homes, these beautiful forests and jungles and fruit trees and orchards, and can get devastated and taken away in a moment.
Yeah.
And our hearts go out to any of their, I'm not asking them to be introspective. I mean, they have to be introspective, but on our side, we just want to be compassionate and supportive any way we can. Yeah. And especially all the people practicing Bhakti Yoga, and they have a huge Bhakti Yoga community out there as well in Maui, all the islands, actually. Okay, Rob,
let's get into the Bhagavatam.
Well, did we finish it?
Finish the song? Yeah, that was it. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it, I think.
That was a good one, Kostuba. Good job. Kostuba, your homework is at 3:30 a.m. I want you to listen to more rap, okay? This is NWA. They've got a song, too, I thought you might like. Okay. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devam saraswatin vasam tatojayam madirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Gyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Midatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, Text 37.
37. Okay.
Hmm.
So we have this exciting story, right? Where a person named Jamil, he was a Brahmin. He was kind of living a puckish religious life. He was religious. He was doing everything right. He was accumulating good karma, right?
Mhm.
Things that should bring pleasure and happiness and pleasurable experiences into his life. But he slipped away from it. He got his mind all captivated, having witnessed a prostitute with another man. And he just became so obsessed that he kind of left. It's going to go into more detail about how he left his good wife, left his good family, became a criminal to support the prostitute, married the prostitute, and whole thing. But he's on his deathbed. He's about to die. And as he's slipping away, he calls out to his son, who's named Narayan, which is the name of Lord Vishnu.
I think this is such, actually, if you just think about this, it's a very relatable story for people who had a good situation. Things were going good, a good family, good wife, or good husband. And then they had like, you know what? My husband's not as exciting as I want. I want somebody more exciting, or my wife isn't as sexy, or whatever it is. There, some lower nature is drawing you away from your structured family,
Religious,
life.
you could say dharmic, right?
Dharmic life. And so you sort of like say, I need like more excitement. I want to try this.
Midlife crisis.
And that, midlife crisis. And yeah, it's like that. Ever see that Woody Allen movie, Husbands and Wives? It's like this.
I think so.
Yeah. And it's sort of like you step on the edge of a slope and you slide all the way down. And it takes you, it's not like you're intentionally saying,
Woody Allen is actually, I have seen, and what he does, it's something like
Woody Allen is like Krishna conscious without God.
I don't want to
maybe not give him that credit, but he understands the miseries of material existence and the interacting of people.
What he conveys in I think in that film and in one or two others I've seen is that real, and it must be something that he's struggled with himself.
Obviously.
That very dark feeling of like the life is slipping away, and what have I done with it, and what am I missing out on, and am I trapped, and like he can really like. I don't see, it's not easy to write a script and convey that kind of thing, but he does it really powerfully, I think.
I tell you, they're very, very, I think for a person who practices Bhakti and is fixed in Bhakti, going back and watching these Woody Allen films, it's like, he just represents like the mind and the options of the material world and existentialism. And, but also how in practically every movie, he's getting drawn to some, new, exciting romantic affair. And it seems like it's the right thing. And then it crushes him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, why was I talking about that?
Jamil.
So yeah, you can very easily, one of your lower grade passions can drag you right out of a good situation. And then it's like it's falling down a flight of stairs. And then you're like at this point where like, how the hell did I get here? How the hell did I get here? And you're sort of in it, and you sort of can't get out of it. And I maybe people can relate to this, where they just made a poor choice. And that's an important thing about careful about your choices, careful about who you let into your life, careful about who you date, because there could be a pregnancy. And next thing you know, you're cemented to this person that you weren't even sure you loved or even liked, but you're raising a kid. This is a huge thing, because sometimes these whims that we go off on, they have like lots of strings attached to them. And now we're in it. And this is going to take up a major portion of our life, sealing us with this family or with this person or with this community for a long time. And so then we got to work extra hard to get out of that hole. And so it's almost like the hero of this story didn't get out of the hole, but there was some special mercy he got.
That's the theme here, is that we'll get to that. But what you're saying is reminding me, of course, of Bhagavad Gita 262 and 63. Dhyayato Vishayan Pungsa.
Yeah.
Sangasti Bhajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kama, Kama Krodha Bhajayate. It all begins with what you think about, right? While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. That right
So
there, that's like
that's a
key
great
to the
statement,
universe.
isn't it?
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
contemplating the objects of the senses. So I'm looking over. Oh, she's quite attractive. Sitting there
Contemplate it a little bit
knitting.
more.
And then I just think of her
Yeah. Now you start to
knitting.
fantasize about
Oh,
it.
beautiful. I wonder if she would knit me a sweater.
Okay.
Then I start, and you keep these things going in your mind. They become your meditation. Contemplating the objects of the senses, then you get
person
attached to
develops
them.
attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, an intense desire.
I want to be around her all the time.
I
want to know her intimately.
And from lust, anger arises.
Yeah, because I'm a Brahmin, I'm controlling my lust. No, I can't act out on that, but it's too late. I've already fell into this little trap. And now when you don't get what you want, you get angry.
Yeah, it's burning up in you right now. Then krodhad bhavati samoha.
From anger comes illusion.
And then samohat smriti vibhrama.
And from illusion comes bewilderment of memory.
Well,
like, why am I even doing this? Like, I'm getting too attached. I'm in this, right? I've already, I'm thinking of things like pornography or things. You're already in the gentleman's club. You're already in it. And then you're completely bewildered. Well, why am I controlling my senses at all? Like, and you start compromising all your values and rationalizing all your values. Well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal about this?
Actually, that's right. We're about to get, Raghunath.
Okay.
Smriti brangshad bhuti na show.
From
bewilderment,
when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost.
Yeah,
and when intelligence is lost, one falls back down again into the material pool.
Bhuti nashad pranasyati.
It's a great translation.
Into the pool.
Isn't it? You fall back down to the material pool.
So now you've lost your intelligence. You've lost your ability to discriminate. Once when I heard Prabhupada lecturing on these two verses, he gave the example of sometimes like a brother kills another brother, right? And then they think, what have I done? Like you get so angry and you begin to lose your intelligence, your ability to make clear decisions. You forget everything. But where does it all start?
Contemplation objects of the senses. That's why the biggest thing that we teach is controlling your mind, is meditation. Right. I used to think, like, why are they just making us chant all the time? 16 rounds. I was like, are they just trying to fill up our time with stuff? Yes, we're trying to fill up your dumb time because you don't know what to do with your mind, you dumb-dumbs.
That's what I was just thinking today when I was, I was up early, I was taking a shower, I was getting ready to, I was going to chant. And when I was taking my shower, I'm just saying, okay, now I've got time. And for this time, what I want to do is I just want my mind for this relatively short amount of time.
Yeah.
I just want my mind to have to think of nothing but this mantra. I want a power session here, right? Where my mind is just fully absorbed in this dynamic spiritual sound.
Power hour.
And nothing else.
Stuba.
Power hour. That's pretty good. That's what it is. You sit down and chant japa for an hour. That's a power hour. That's an hour where your mind is not, people were, when we were discussing the D1 lyrics.
I'm going to go listen on Spotify for D1 today.
Okay.
Play it for Tarun.
Yeah. But while we were discussing that, I noticed on the chat board, like some people had mentioned, like, well, it's tough in the atmosphere that I'm in. Like I'm in the world of politics, and it's hard not for the mind to become negative and to go into all that kind of stuff. It's a fact. That's true. You need your power hour, right? All the more reason why you need this time to really take your mind and fully submerge it deep in spiritual thought and spiritual sound and spiritual content. Then you're insulated when you go into that, and you'll be able to make those difficult external circumstances fields of growth for you, because now you're going into them. You won't be controlled by them. You'll be observing them, and your observations will only be confirming your convictions rather than dragging you from your weakening you. But you need to have that time away from it where you're really absorbing your mind and your intellect in this kind of pure spiritual energy, Bhagavatam. Maha Mantra, like that.
You know what's a good little thing people can practice
What's that?
tomorrow or today when you take your shower in the morning? Have a
Yeah.
fully spiritual shower, like chant mantras, think of
Power
Krishna.
shower with Raghunath.
How?
Power shower hour with Raghunath.
I gotta stay in the shower.
Okay.
We're doing this live on Zoom tonight for Patreon members. We're gonna all bathe together. Please keep it from the belly up, please, or the neck up in some cases. But just like, no, I'm serious. When I go in the shower, I'm going to chant mantras. I have mantras already memorized. If you don't have mantras memorized, you could chant the holy name. You could chant to Krishna. This sounds crazy, but your mind can go to crazy places in the shower.
That's right, it can.
Mine does.
What about preparing your cooking in the shower?
He brings it back to Seinfeld. I know that.
All right. We gotta start reading now. So now we're hearing about he's being pulled out of his body, a Jamil, the messengers of Yama, the judge, right? He sent these horrible, fearsome creatures. The Yamadutas are pulling him out, but he chants the name Narayan. He calls out his son. His only intention was calling for his son out of like fear and desperation, but he called the name Narayan.
Narayan.
And then the Vishnu-dutas come, the messengers of Vishnu come flying in.
We did such a great build-up for the story, but now we just got to read the darn story.
Okay, read the story.
Text 38. The blessed
37?
messengers of Lord Vishnu's, the Vishnu-dutas.
I thought we were 37. Was it 38? Read 37 anyway.
Sukadeva Goswami continued. Being thus addressed by the messengers of Yamaraj, the servants of Vasudev, smiled and spoke the following words in voices as deep as the sound of rumbling clouds.
I would love to hear their voices, wouldn't you?
Well, I could do a good imitation
Kinda
right
like
now.
Barry White.
If you are actually servants of Yamaraj, you must explain to us the meaning of Dharma, religious principles, and the symptoms of adharma, irreligion.
Okay. So they're saying you're claiming that you have a right to take this man to his punishment. Well, then, in order to make that decision, you need to know the dharmic principles. Let's hear.
What, text 39, what is the process of punishing others? Who are the actual candidates for punishment? Are all karmis, that means fruitive workers, engaged in fruitive activities punishable, or only some of them?
Okay.
Now the Yamadutas reply.
How does karma work? How do the laws of karma work? You're the servant of the laws of karma, right? You carry out the justice.
Right.
Do you really know how it all works?
How does it all work? Or you just, The Yamadutas replied, that which is prescribed in the Vedas constitute dharma, the religious principles, and the opposite of that is adharma, or irreligion. The Vedas are directly the supreme personality of Godhead, Narayan, and are self-born.
This
we
voice
have
is not
heard
working
from
for me,
Yamaraj.
Raghunath. It's got to be like creepier, like because they got all these twisted faces, and try to come up with something. They're like, they're like ogres or something, or like,
Ever see that Saturday Night Live?
I haven't.
I'll find that for you. Okay.
Okay.
Text 41. The supreme cause of all causes, Narayan, is situated in his abode in the spiritual world, but nevertheless, he controls the entire cosmic manifestation according to the three modes of material nature: sattva, raja, and tama guna. In this way, all living entities are awarded different qualities, different names, such as a brahmana, a kshatriya, a vaishya, different duties according to their varnashram institution, and different forms. Thus, Narayan is the cause of the entire cosmic manifestation.
Okay.
The sun, the fire, the sky, the air, the demigods, the moon, even day, night, directions, water, land, and the supersoul himself are all witnesses. All witness the activity of the living entity.
Okay. That's interesting stuff, right? Yeah, this is the way a sadhu thinks, right? He's not thinking that like I can put on a face when I'm in front of certain people. I can present myself in a certain way, and then when I'm alone, there's no witness. Nobody's seeing it. No. They're feeling like I'm never alone. Right? The sun is witnessing my activities. Fire, the sky, the devas, and most importantly, Krishna is right there in my heart.
Okay, wait a second though, because I wasn't doing my voices. Was that who with the Vishnu?
This is the Yamadutas. This is
Oh, the Yamadutas. Okay,
The
the
Yamadutas. You know,
they're very sophisticated and very devotional.
we were discussing past couple of days how what we have in the conflict between the Yamadutas and the Vishnu-dutas is not a conflict between good and evil. It's a conflict between good and great, right? It's a conflict between religion and, in one sense, it's like religion and spirituality is the conflict, right? They're like, here are the laws of Dharma. We know the laws of Dharma. This is how the world works, and this person is guilty. And the
Sure.
Vishnu-dutas are saying, but you don't understand the power of bhakti. You don't really understand where it all concludes. That this person has held on to the third rail of bhakti, right? It's where all the power is. And just and because bhakti is the goal of all life, and even this person who is so adharmic, just because they associated with that, it trumped everything. It's the most important thing. You don't understand what the most important thing is. So everything the Yamadutas are saying here, this is correct. But there's something that they still don't understand. And so that'll come out in the course of the story.
Okay. Oh, in the candidates for
43.
punishment. Text 43. The candidates for punishment are those who are confirmed by these many witnesses to have deviated from their prescribed regulative duties.
Okay.
Everyone engaged in fruitive activities is suitable to be subjected to punishment according to their sinful acts.
Okay, so they feel like they're lawyers and they're presenting a solid case here, right? Like if what we're saying is true and then you look at his life, well, there's no doubt he's guilty, right?
Okay. Oh, inhabitants of Vaikuntha, you are sinless, but those within this material world are all karmis, whether acting piously or impiously. Both kinds of action are possible for them because they are contaminated by the three gunas and must act accordingly. One who has accepted a material body cannot be inactive, and sinful inaction is inevitable for one acting under the gunas. Therefore, all the living entities within this material world are punishable. They all get some, all right? They all get some type of karma because they're just acting out of ignorance, either good or bad, or right.
Yeah, and we handle the bad karma. They're like, that's our job, right? Is to handle the bad karma.
In proportion to the extent of one's dharma or adharma, there's religious or irreligious actions in life, one must enjoy or suffer the corresponding reactions to their karma in the next.
Everything they're saying is true.
Yeah. Oh, best of the demigods, we can see three varieties of life, which are due to the contamination of the three gunas. The living entities are thus known as peaceful, restless, or foolish, right? The sattva, rajas, and tamas.
Okay.
Or you can look at it as this, as happy, unhappy, or someone in between.
Okay.
Or as this, religious, irreligious, or semi-religious.
Okay.
We can deduce that in the next life, these three kinds of material nature will similarly act.
Okay.
Right? Because you've been preparing yourself. You're practicing.
You could, you can read it. He gives an analogy in the next verse.
You can tell a person's next life by their activities in this life. It's a good, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And they're about to say, well, there's a caveat here. Just as springtime in the present indicates the nature of springtime in the past and the future, right? It's springtime. It's the same every year. So this life of happiness, distress, or a mixture of both gives evidence concerning the religious and irreligious activities of one's past and future lives.
Okay. So, we just look at his life and you know what he's destined to go through. And that's what we're here to make happen.
The omnipotent Yamaraj, right, all-powerful Yamaraj, is as good as Lord Brahma. For while situated in his own abode or in everyone's heart, like the paramatma, he mentally observes the past activities of a living entity and thus understands how the living entity will act in the future lives. He gets it.
So he's like, it's saying that Yamaraj kind of has like a direct connection to Paramatma. So it's almost like he's got like, we're bugged, right? It's like our thoughts, our actions is all, it's like, just like
the CIA has like cameras in our house and they're looking through our phone's camera at us. They know everything about us.
He's connected to like a CIA agent. All the information he needs to make the judgment he's got.
Ever since the Patriot Act, Yamaraj has known everything about us. As a sleeping person acts according to the body manifested in his dreams and accepts it to be himself, so one identifies with his present body, which he acquired because of his past religious or irreligious actions, and is unable to know his past or future lives.
Very good. Just that verse right there. Boy, we could have done the whole show just on that verse right there.
Let me read
As
it
a-
again. How about that?
Yeah.
In case you missed it while you were showering. As a sleeping person acts according to the body manifested in his dreams and accepts it to be himself, so one identifies with his present body, which he has acquired because of his past religious or irreligious actions, and is unable to know his past or future lives.
Why don't we pick up here
What a great verse. Oh,
next
is it
next on Monday, right?
I felt like I could have went forever today. You know, I'm looking forward tonight, everybody. Sweet Baby Krishna,
All right.
8 p.m.
You gonna break out a little Garga Samhita?
You know what I'm gonna do? I might keep it. I think we're gonna read the
Keep it
story
real.
about Horace Chandra today.
Okay.
You know, Horace Chandra. Me and Tarun have been reading that story. It's such a
All right.
A little weird.
it's a little weird story, actually. It's a very weird story.
And we should mention that tomorrow's the Sleep In Saturday, right? And then we have the Q&A.
Oh my God, what a fast week.
So if you
Okay.
want to write in a question, you got to do it quick.
Write in a question. If you got questions, write them in. We'll read them.
Write to wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. Write to Mara. Say, I got a question.
Yeah,
All right, Mara, we'll get
All
any
right.
good takeaways for today.
we do. The music we listen to creates our identity.
In a way, it does.
In a way, it does.
Be diligent about the media you consume.
Diligent.
Mm.
Yeah, the lyrics that we say over and over again. You know,
Mhm.
that's why that's why I just want to hear Krishna conscious music. I want to hear, at the very least, I want like ragas. Do you ever just go to Spotify and search ragas or YouTube? It's so pleasant just to play in the background.
Okay.
But what to speak of singing the mantras?
Mm.
People are walking away from the show singing Jai Shri Krishna Bolo Jai Radhe.
It's true.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, we get a lot of people who comment or write in to ask what that closing song is.
It's the Mayapuris. Get that record right now. Go to Spotify. Get it. It's called Mridanga.
It all starts with the tongue.
Yeah.
It all starts with the tongue.
Go all the way with Bhakti. Life is getting shorter.
Go all the way, Raghunath.
Go all
I'll
the
go
way.
with you. I'll follow right
Come.
in your path.
We can't usurp Krishna's qualities.
You can't usurp Krishna's qualities.
Stay on the basics.
Including his singing.
Keep it to the basics. I can make everything a jingle.
But you don't need to.
You don't have to.
It's okay. People want it.
No, they don't.
I think they do.
Early bedtime and waking is a breeze in your sails.
Is a
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Oh, early.
Yeah, it
It's
gets
a
you flowing.
breeze. It's a favorable wind in your sails.
Yes.
Summer breeze.
Makes me feel fine. What do they say after that? Going through the
Blowing
what?
through the jasmine in my mind.
Oh.
Oh, I was saying like Shabazz. I never knew what they said.
Those guys
Thank you.
were
Who was
they-
it?
They were Baha'is, Seals and Croft.
Seals and Croft.
Yeah, they're Baha'is.
Didn't
Blowing
Seals
through
and
the
Croft make
jasmine. Do, 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 do.
who made HR Puff and stuff? Was that Seals and Croft?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Okay, let's keep going.
All right.
Something is.
We're bugged. Paramatma and Yamaraj know everything.
We're
it's
bugged.
Stop,
We're
stop.
bugged.
I'm just gonna mute him.
Oh, you can do it, but I can't do it. You
I did it
Summer
once
Breeze.
and then I moved on. You do it every single time.
Oh, Sid and Marty Croft. Thank you, Timothy Tucker. That's what it was. Seals and Croft, Sid and Marty Croft. Okay.
Make your japa a power hour.
Power hour.
And bathe in the holy name. Take a spiritual power shower.
There you go.
Take a spiritual power shower. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, everybody. Hey, Sweet Baby Krishna tonight for Patreon members. Want to thank all our Patreon members for keeping this boat floating. Go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages. It's community supported. You're the community. Support it and join us today at 8 o'clock for Sweet Baby Krishna. Zoom link will. How do you get the Zoom link? They just get it in the mail.
Patreon.
Yeah, if they go to our Patreon post.
That's how it works. Thanks everybody for joining us on Zoom. You want to join us at Zoom? You can do it too. Go to wisdom. Email Mara, Miss Mara, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. She'll give you the secret codes to join our coven of witches. We are witchies, witchy poo. Supercharged
he just ran out of
powers.
energy right there.
Spiritual power at Kastuba's apartment.
It's so
Come
nice.
join me building stone walls. Hey, we got some stuff going on in Super Soul Farm. Let's announce it. Here we go. We got Chant Camp, September 1st through the 4th with Bali and Dunya from the Mayapuris. We got Lori Pag and Raghu doing low fly chants. Yoga and Kirtan retreat the 8th through the 10th of September. And of course, the BRG retreat, September 28th through October 1st. And we're going to announce the Wisdom of the Sages retreat tomorrow, but we think it's Columbus Day weekend. Indigenous People Day weekend. So hold those spots, because this is the wind-up of the year, people. Okay, people, we've got things to do. We've got to get going. But listen, I just want to share something. It's a magical world. Once we claim our spiritual life, once we claim our spiritual identity, watch the magic happen. Watch the magic happen. Put your hands in the air, everybody. Repeat after me. I'm a pure spirit soul. I just forgot. Today, I am claiming my real identity. Come on, put your hands up, Kastuba. Today, I'm claiming my real identity. I'm part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And I'm here, Lord Krishna, to do as you would like. What would you like from me today? Now dance. Come on, Mary, dance with me. I am closing the show. It's a beautiful day, very beautiful day.